Hey guys, Sean Midget here. So I've got a new rifle to do a video on today. Now this is mine, and this has been long awaited, at least for me. I wanted to buy one of these Palmetto State JAKLs as soon as they came out. I did hold off because they originally released their 10-inch versions, and then I think it was the following year at SHOT Show they announced the pin and weld rifles, and I was very intrigued on one of those. Kind of that, 10.5s weren't as of interest to me, so that they announced the 13.7 pin and welds. They ended up doing 14.5, 16 inches, so I kind of wanted kind of a mid-length, not quite a 10.5. Got a couple of short barrel 5.56s, wanted something in the mid-length. Now I did a two-tone on this, so I bought two separate pieces, bought the upper separate from the lower. I'll get in that a little bit more. But this is mine, just if you're wondering. So we'll start from the back and go to the front on this thing. So the stock that is on here is the B&T manufacturing. They're out of Switzerland. I think they have a manufacturing plant in the US. I could be totally wrong, but I know it's like a Swiss company. So I was considering getting the ACR looking stock, but I saw reports of a lot of people saying that it was very flimsy on the back. The back of it would bend, and I didn't really want to mess with that. Plus, that lower receiver was actually $30 more than this lower receiver. So I was like, I'm not going to spend $30 more for a stock that wobbles on the back, flexes, because I've seen a lot of people reporting that issue with it. So I ended up just getting the B&T, and I'm happy with it. It's got a rubber butt pad. It's got two QD sling mount slots, one on each side, so it is ambi adjustable for length of pull. So you kind of squeeze these two tabs, and there is 6 positions for it. And then there is 3 positions on the buffer, or the cheek rest, sorry. So that is all the way down. I like it right in the middle, and then there's all the way up. And then, of course, there's a button on the side, so it folds. When it does fold, it locks into place down here. It has like a channel that it rides in, and you can't just rip it out. You will destroy the plastic on the back of this, and I actually kind of damaged it slightly by trying to pull it out when you can't. You have to push the stock upwards because it's got a spring on it. So you push it upwards, and then it folds. So it's very solid, doesn't move because it has that locking position. You push up and pull out. It's actually a pretty good design, but you just have to know that you do not try to yank it out. Don't do it. You can damage it, and you probably will. So just to show the locking mechanism, you can see the plastic got a little bit mangled because I tried to open it. You have to push up and fold out. See how it locks into position? Push up, and it folds out. The hinge mechanism is plastic on the stock, but the actual adapter on the back is made by PSA, is aluminum. So this is like the adapter that goes on the original AR lower. Now I bought the JAKL lower. You can use any lower receiver and then just get all this stuff on the back. They make a kit where you can attach a folding mechanism. But I just kind of wanted to get a complete lower. I'm a huge fan of PSA complete lowers, and then you just add the upgrades you want, and because PSA barrels are kind of meh, so I like building my upper receivers with different barrels, at least in terms of the ARs. So the lower receiver does have the JAKL logo. You will see that on a close-up. Magpul extended magazine catch. First time using one of those, actually pretty happy with it. It's a little bit shorter than some of them. Some of them are really, really long. I have a couple that are really long. I forget the brand. I have 3 of them. This one's a little bit shorter. Made of aluminum, good quality though. Ambidextrous selector switch. This is like a CAC, like a Knight's Armament style, where it's scalloped on the side, the bottom, so that it stays out of the way of your finger, even if you have it up here. Nice. And this is like a $20 part. Very good price for what you get, and it's made by Dirty Bird, is the manufacturer. The pistol grip on here is made by B5. pretty decent pistol grip. It's a little bit longer than I wish, because when I hold on to it, there's a lot extra down here. So I wish it was a little bit shorter. I have thought about taking my Dremel and cutting the bottom part off. I am undecided on whether or not I will do that. The trigger in here is made by Rise Armament. I will put a picture in there. I saw it for like 140 bucks, 135 on sale. I think that was AIM surplus. I bought it for like 140, 145, so I paid a little bit more. But I just saw it recently on sale, so if anybody's looking to get it, a very nice trigger. Rise Armament, it's very reputable. I have one of their triggers in my 10.5. My brother's got one in his 10.5. My dad has one in his 14.5 pin and weld. I have one in here. One of my friends has one, and another friend, his dad has one. A lot of examples, and I've never seen any issues with them. So great triggers for around 100 to 150 bucks. All of theirs are like under 150, I believe. And it comes with anti-walk pins that thread in there. Nice, really good quality. Check out the trigger pull. This is a 3.5. It is slightly better than the $100 trigger that I have from Rise. But it is very similar. Pretty hard to tell a difference, not gonna lie. It just has a different profile. It looks more like a blade, like a knife almost, whereas the other ones are just completely straight. So, slightly different. But you can shoot it really fast, trust me. That's pretty much it for the low receiver. Unfortunately, you cannot change the bolt lock because it is proprietary. It's thinner, so you can't change that out. So that is a little bit disappointing for me, who likes to change those out quite often. So the upper receiver is in the color smoke. So it's like a gray is the best thing I can describe it, like a dark gray, very dull gray, if you will. The upper receiver, I have Magpul flip-up sights. These are just basic sights. These are real. These are not replica garbage. These are legitimate. I do have to adjust them to the optic, which I'm going to zero tomorrow. But good sights, plastic, polymer, but reputable sights. They've been around for a long time. The optic on here, if you happen to watch my videos, you would have seen one of my friends. He built a Foxtrot Mike 12.5 AR, and he got this exact same optic, and I was very impressed with it. So I ended up getting one $107, 107 on AIM surplus. There's a couple of websites right now that have them for about 150, 160. When they first came out, they were like 170, 180 supposedly. So pretty expensive back then. The price is lower. It's like just over 100 bucks. You can find them on AIM surplus. Definitely recommend the optic. One of the cheapest optics that has shake awake. It does have shake awake, so when you, and I have tested that, it shuts off, you pick it up and it turns on. Pretty crisp red dot. I think it's a 2 or 3 MOA. It does have adjustment buttons, so it's not this knob over here. This houses the battery, but the actual adjustment for the brightness is over here, plus and minus. So really nice, and then you have the adjustments for the windage and elevation. Now, moving forward, I have a BCM grip on here, one of my favorite grips. It's not fully vertical, but it's kind of angled slightly. Huge fan of these. It is attached to the M-LOK rail. I did consider putting M-LOK covers on here. I actually did for a little bit, but I took them off because cosmetic. I think it looks nicer without those on there. It looks more like the original, like an ACR, which is kind of, this is like the Wish.com or Temu ACR, in my opinion, is the way it looks. Objectively, it looks like an ACR. And so I like the look of the ACR without kind of the open holes. So for cosmetic reasons, I do have rail covers. I took them off. Don't want to keep them on there. I have a Rise Armament QD sling mount on the front here, and I attach it to here. Oh, I also forgot to mention there's actually a QD sling mount on the bottom here, ambidextrous right in the middle. So I have this replica. It's not a legitimate, it's a Magpul MS4 sling, and to prove that there's a spot down here, pretty cool, huh? But I actually just run it all the way out. Quick adjust sling. It has a single point and 2 point because it's got this back here so you can attach it. You would just want to pull this forward a little bit and mess around with it, but I like it in the 2 position, and you can hang it. and then you just yank on the adjustment, and then you can shoulder it, and then to pull it tight, you adjust it, and it's close to your body. For the cost, very good price. Some people may not want to spend $60 on a Magpul sling, so these are $20 and well worth it. I have 3 of those and never had an issue with them. So that is it for the stuff that I changed and put on here. What came with it is a JAKL flash hider. I don't think it's a comp. It's more of a flash hider than anything, but it does have the bottom notch is smaller than the top. So theoretically more gas should go up, but it's more of a flash hider than anything, and it does have quick detach for the suppressor. So other specs on here is a monolithic upper receiver made out of aluminum, hard coat anodized lower receiver. I'm not actually sure what the upper is painted with. I want to say it's Cerakote. It's actually pretty good. Cerakote wears pretty easily, but I believe it's Cerakote. This is pretty solid. The barrel is 4150 nitride barrel, which is pretty typical for nowadays. That's kind of a budget thing, but actually very effective. Don't know how long this barrel would last quality-wise, but supposedly Palmetto State has a lifetime warranty, so I don't know, maybe 15,000 rounds down the line, if I said, hey, I'm losing some accuracy, they might switch it out. I know they do that with their ARs. I've heard stories of people, shooting 10, 15,000 rounds and losing accuracy. They send it in and they just replace the barrel completely. So whether or not PSA would do that 10 years down the line, don't know. It does have an adjustable gas block. It has 8 positions, which are actually really cool. The original JAKL had issues with the gas block, the gas plug. You could turn it, and then apparently it would kind of turn too much, and the detent would shoot out because it's got a spring. And they also were only 3 or 4 gas settings. This has 8, so they're newer versions. Kind of wanted to hold off with PSA buying their original one because PSA kind of does trial runs. Their first batch or 2 are kind of trial runs, and you're kind of the guinea pig. But they find the kinks. The same thing was with the AKV. I bought it like 6 months after it came out, and the kinks were fixed. Same thing with this. So 8 position adjustable gas, you can't turn it and the thing won't fly out. So they did fix that. Also for the charging handle, the actual guide that it ran on was super thin aluminum and they were cracking. So I think they just thickened it and it's still aluminum. And I haven't heard people complaining about that anymore, but that was an issue at first. The charging handle is ambi in the fact that you can take it out and put it to the other side. It is the knurled charging handle. I'll show you close-ups, B-roll, but it's knurled. It's easy to grab. Fantastic. This is like in the exact same spot that the ACR. People say, oh, this is like the SCAR at home. This looks nothing like a SCAR. Okay, maybe 5% like a SCAR. The SCAR charging handle was back further. It reciprocates, and it's in the way from charging it when you have a big optic. This is in like the perfect spot. You're not going to be busting your knuckle while you're racking the weapon. It is a long stroke gas piston, so it's like an AK. It's not a short stroke gas piston like the ACR or a G36 or Bren 180, AR 180 series. So it's more like an AK on the operating system, but it does have the adjustable gas. So it's like a finely tuned AK. This is very similar to shoot when compared to my Zastava 5.56 AK, which is in 10-inch and with a K&S adjustable gas piston. So I adjusted it so it's very light shooting, cycles really slow, but actually impressively low recoil for what it is. Very happy with it. The ammunition that I shoot out of it is just 62 grain M855 from PMC. It's 2900 out of a 16-inch. I've seen it at like 3050 out of a 20. This is a 13.7 pin and weld. So 13.7, it should be about 2,800 feet per second, give or take 50. So 2750, 2850, give or take. I've seen many chrono tests with this stuff. I've seen out of 14.5s and it was getting like close to 29. So this is roughly an inch shorter than a 14.5, so 28 is a fair estimate on the actual velocity of that ammunition. A good ammo for shit hits the fan, not a match grade ammo, but I have 2 other rifles that I sight this in for, so it's good ammo to have, and you can find it for $9, $10 a box. So 45 to 50 cents a round, so not horrible. Used to be a lot cheaper back before COVID and before a lot of political unrest and garbage politics. So that increased the cost of ammunition, unfortunately.